r/AskReddit. Which scene from an animated film will always be the best? Treasure Planet. Jim's first ride on his solar board. Test drive from How to Train Your Dragon is musically phenomenal. The way they combine the musical themes for Hiccup and Toothless in such an epic way blows my mind every time. I get chills even thinking about it. The door chase from Monsters Incorporated. I still wish they had made it into an interactive ride. Transition to the Spirits World scene, the beginning of Spirited Away. I've always loved Ratatouille, especially the scene with the critic Antonego and his subsequent review. https://youtube.b/chpufkrh94 at the end. I Can Go the Distance from Hercules has given me goosebumps for over 20 years, without fail. In Mulan, the transition from a girl worth fighting for to the sudden discovery that the Huns have attacked the village and killed all the soldiers. Even though it's pretty recent, the whole final part of Moana, where we learn Te Fiti from the ocean splitting to the giant lava monster crawling towards Moana to the island becoming green and teeming with life again. Megamind's entrance in the final battle to Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. The opening scene of Lion King. The train scene in Spirited Away. The animation and atmosphere is so great, and it conveys everything it's supposed to with no dialogue. Can I do a top 3? I'm doing a top 3. The Plagues from the Prince of Egypt. The song is amazing, and the visuals are beautifully and harrowingly done. I think this scene is one of the best examples of why musicals tend to gel so well with animation when adapted to film. Because there's so much you can do with color and shape and camera angles that you just can't get with live action. I think I might tie it with the hieroglyphic dream sequence, which is one of the most creative uses of art shift I've seen in a mainstream animated film. The dance scene from Beauty and the Beast. I think this is the first movie scene I actually was cognizant of. I really liked Beauty and the Beast as a kid, and still love it. And almost 30 years later, it's just as magical for me. Hellfire from the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Honestly, just CTRL plus V everything I said about the plagues. But seriously, it's one of the best bits of animation Disney has ever done. The floating lanterns in Tangled. The whole scene is beautiful, and it has one of my favorite Disney songs in it. The strangely ASMR-like scene in Toy Story 2 where Woody gets fixed by the old man. WALL-E dance scene in space. Them feels. Besides the ones that have been mentioned, I'll nominate the scene in Toy Story when Buzz finds out he's a toy. https://www.youtube.com/watch v=VDDEVQS6M40. For the first CGI animated film, he shows so many powerful facial expressions: elation at hearing Star Command, confusion when he sees it on TV, horrified bewilderment when he realizes what the commercial means, dismay when he leaves the room and accepts that Woody was right, strength and determination when he tries to prove himself wrong, a slow emo transition from that to heartbroken fear when he feels himself falling, and finally a face that can only be described as broken, poetically, both on the inside and on the outside when his arm comes off. The music is perfect for this and really hits home how he's feeling at each moment. And then he gets drunk on tea with Mary Antoinette and her little sisters. Iron Giant's missile scene for the feels. When Rafiki says Simba is alive and paints the mane onto him. Kubo and the Two Strings. If you must blink. https://youtube.com/watch v=ywdul_midxg. Do it now.
N.
The Friends from the Other Side neon part from Princess and the Frog. I really appreciate how beautiful it is, and as Disney's last 2D movie it really has a place in my heart. In Bayo, when the mother eats the dumpling, it was so shocking that the audience all gasped, then laughed, then all felt guilty for laughing, then reflect on what happened. I've never seen so many people go through so many emotions in such a short time. Howl's Moving Castle. The scene which Howl saves Sophie in the alley and then walk her onto the air with the background piano is so beautiful. Olivia Octavius reveal in Spider-Verse. The festival scene from El Dorado. The music and the animation are incredible. That montage from Up. Whoa, it's got me in my feels. Miles Morales' leap of faith in Into the Spider-Verse. Animation from Hunchback of Notre Dame that take place in the cathedral. That movie is amazing animation all around. But the way they did the light coming through the stained glass is absolutely stunning. The train scene in Spirited Away when Chihiro and No Face are going to see Zenobia. The I Need a Hero scene from Shrek 2. I like the scene in Finding Nemo where Bruce, the shark, is chasing Molin and Dory. The scene in The Emperor's New Groove, where Isma turns into a cat, makes me laugh hysterically every single time. Any scene with Edna Mode in it from The Incredibles. Big Hero 6 when Hero disables Baymax's safety protocols and orders him to kill Callahan. The ballroom scene from Beauty and the Beast. No matter how many times I watch that movie, that scene still takes my breath away. The scene in Ghost in the Shell, when the main character overestimates her physical limits and destroys herself trying to open that mech tank. Or that whole chase/fight scene with the cloaked dude. The scene from Hitted where Hiccup finally learns to fly toothless, mostly because of that amazing theme. But the scene is also pretty breathtaking in itself. Honey, where's my super suit? The scene from Inside Out, when Riley gets back to her parents and sadness takes over. I love the scene of Dash running on water in The Incredibles. Just the look of pure joy he gets when he finally gets to use his powers and realizes just how fast he can be just makes me happy. The door scene in Monsters Incorporated is amazing and creative, and I haven't seen it here, but simply because I love the way it looks. Tarzan swimming, skating, through the jungle. The storm rescue scene. https://www.youtube.com/watch v=xjp16xsdsp0 and t=0s. From Guardians of Gahul. The story is forgettable. The character's corny, but I can just rewatch the movie too. Or about Tiny Bird Feathers wiggling in the wind. When Mufasa dies in Lion King I still get emotional. I'm bad. And that's good. I will never be good. And that's not bad. There's no one I'd rather be than me. When Taki and Mitsuha are looking for each other at the end of Your Name. My heart. Every food scene in Ghibli movies. They are so well done that I always get hungry when I watch them. The scene in Hunchback of Notre Dame where Quasimodo rescues Esmeralda and cries out sanctuary from the top of the church. It's so beautiful to watch. For me there are several destruction scenes from Metropolis, the finale to Sleeping Beauty with the two bickering about the color of the dress after the greatest showdown with Maleficent and the gorgeous music swells, or perhaps Chihiro and Haku in Spirited Away finding out Haku's true name. Beautiful. The unicorn crashing through sand dunes as they turn into waves. https://www.youtube.com/watch v=UPI32RFTV70 in Tintin. I love that piece of animation. The rest of the scene isn't shabby at all, but that scene change is one of my favorites of all time. Hard to pick, but I really appreciated the relatively long and quiet sentences in Samurai Jack, especially those set in the wilderness and countryside. Very cinematic. The ending scene of the end of Evangelion, or when Asuka is fighting the mass-produced Evas. It's the show, but Zuko and Azula Sanike, the visuals, the emotions, the soundtrack. I was speechless watching it the first time. Breathtaking. Miles jumping off the building and into the Spider-Verse. Honestly a cinematic masterpiece. Lilo and Stitch. When Stitch runs away because he feels he only causes problems. The scene in The Lion King in which Mufasa tells Simba that he is very disappointed in him before telling him about the great kings of the past. The score, the animation and the voice acting make it a beautiful scene. I also love the opening of Up. A GNIKAI. Every scene in Coco. The scene from Camino Nawa, Your Name, where he writes I love you instead of his name on her hand. I really like the scene in Kung Fu Panda 2 where Po sees the flashback of his mother's sacrifice. Between the rain, the music, and the crying, that shit hit me hard. The transformation scene for Cinderella, just because of what it was for animation. If I remember correctly, Walt had a special fondness towards that scene, but I could be remembering the wrong person in that role. That Land Before Time scene, where Littlefoot was born into the world and cuddled on top of his mother's back. That movie will always have a special place in my heart. Also, the intro scene from Prince of Egypt is such a classic. Second to that would be the scene where Moses summons the plagues into Egypt. In How to Train Your Dragon, when Stoik finds Vorka, I'm supposed to be a grown man, but I still cry every time. That scene from the Transformers movie where Optimus Prime dies, I have never known an animate to do that, and in my opinion it was the best on-screen death I have ever seen in an animated movie whatsoever. It was so surreal and perfect, it is so sad, and you cried a little. Sixth stop from Spirited Away, it's hauntingly beautiful. Brilliant soundtrack also. The first time I cried from a movie just being beautiful was the scene in Moana, when she goes to the sea for the first time as a child. I don't know why I just started crying from how beautiful it was. The balcony scene in A Silent Voice, where Shia saves Shaoko. Up has already been said, and will always be the best. But a close second is Define Dancing from Wall-E. It has no dialogue, yet it speaks volumes about the two characters. The climax scene in Howl's Moving Castle, where the main characters are flying over the country and everyone celebrating the end of the war. Akira's opening bike chase. The direction, fluidity and level of detail is insane. It sets up the world perfectly. This scene, https://www.youtube.com/watch v=g_mssszlruro from Cowboy Bebop. The movie was the first to come to my mind. This movie is getting a little bit more love now, but the Crosstown Express, https://youtube.b/hm6itx_us, scene from Robots. It holds up surprisingly well, and is a great exercise in sound and visual design. Honorable mention to the mime scene, https://youtube.b/cas_cas_-8lsi, from Flushed Away. Mirana singing as she approaches Tefiti during their showdown. According to my parents, my dad specifically, it's the lantern scene and or the dam breaking scene from Tangled. Ever since we got it on 3D Blu-ray, he'll always insist on showing those scenes to people who haven't been to our house before / in a long time. From Inside Out, when Riley returns home after running away, the fact that sadness is needed wishes realized by joy, still gives me tears. Intro scene in the Transformers movie, where Unicron just devours an entire planet and casually floats on. Toy Story 4. The scene where Gabby finds the lost girl, and she picks her up makes me cry like a little baby. That scene is so simple yet so effective, especially after what Gabby went through. Spider Pig. Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. The snowball fight scene in Cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Shit is hilarious. The ending of Toy Story 3, when Andy and Bonnie play with the toys and he finally says goodbye. Tarzan. Tree skating scenes, and when he finds his family portrait. You will never convince me otherwise. Princess Mononoke and Battle/Resurrection and Akira motorcycle gang scene are tied for second. Surprised I haven't come across it yet, but the plagues from Prince of Egypt, or the bit where they're walking through the Red Sea and there's just a whole whale swimming next to them. Bruh, I lose my mind every time. Dumbo in the scene where Dumbo goes to meet his imprisoned mother. If you don't cry during that scene, you are dead inside.